Welcome to Survivor NSFW with Jonny Fairplay and Matt Bischoff. Matt Bischoff, you shaved your face, you cut your beard, you look like a totally different guy. If I had to guess, you were Tommy Smokes from Barstool Sports.
I look a little bit different than him, I guess. Otherwise, we probably would get mistaken all the time.
well, Tommy, we like to thank you for giving us the old, as we call it in the wrestling business, the old hot tag, brother. Matt Bischoff is listening. He is laying in bed. His iMac computer is beside the bed. He is suffering from flu-like symptoms. Why? Because he has the fucking flu. I'm hoping that he doesn't die during this. I'm hoping that we don't make him laugh too many times during this. I'm hoping that Matt Bischoff is back to the land of the living next week. If he's not, there is one cure, Tommy Smokes. I don't know if you listened to a couple podcasts ago, but Big Tom from Survivor was supposed to join us for the live premiere episode of Survivor Edge of Extinction. We had a big viewing party in Cincinnati. He couldn't make it because he had the flu and his wife had the flu. And he told me on the phone that to help cure his wife, he gave her a big shot of penicillin. So if Matt is not well by next week, I'm sending Big Tom over with the shot of penicillin. I guarantee he gets out of that bed.
See, I just got like a flu shot a few months ago, so I tried to avoid any shots of penicillin and the flu altogether.
There you go.
It's a more traditional route.
More traditional. So, I've forgotten to mention the last couple times. I mean, you're looking at me right now. I am wearing a Edge of Extinction buff because it is the cool tribe of Survivor Edge of Extinction. This is the cool buff, and if you want to be like me, Jonny Fairplay, well, buff is the only thing you need to be that cool, because buff is the perfect head garment for running, hiking, biking, cycling, fishing, and more. Whether I'm on the marathon trails or surviving a cyclone, I always have my buff. And you can get yours at buffusa.com. That's buffusa.com, the official sponsor of the Survivor NSFW podcast. Guess what, Tommy Smokes? I guarantee next week, buffusa.com, new merged or new swap tribe, whatever. There's gonna be a third fucking buff available.
Yep, third tribe for sure. Now I'm interested. I mean, we'll get into it, but so I guess somebody is coming back from Edge of Extinction.
Ooh, or do we have uneven numbers? Is that why you're?
So there's or no, wait a minute. No, I'm just wrong. No, there's just 15, so never mind. In my head, I had the math wrong that there was going to be 14 left, so just forget that I said that.
Okay, good. My gut is telling me we get a return around the merge, and then we get another return around day 37. I could be like, because I think that's how they did it on Redemption Island, and I think all this is Redemption Island, with the exception of they just don't know that that's a possibility. And maybe I'm even remembering Redemption Island wrong. I have no clue, but in my head, or maybe I dreamed it, or maybe I was fucking there, and I'm David Wright. So because we are playing an eerily similar game to one another, or at least how I would play it if I were back out there.
He's playing super well. I was a little I like David coming into the season. I was worried that he was gonna have a target on his back, because if you're a returning player and someone like him who doesn't necessarily come off as a big help pre-merge around camp or in challenges, I thought for sure they'd look at him, say, oh, he's a snake, we got to take him out. But he's done a really nice job assimilating himself into the tribe. I think he's got a shot. I think of all the 4 returning players, he has the best shot to win.
I feel he does too. So, and as far as showing your worth around camp, I mean, no, he's not a physically dominating player, but like, go back to my first season of Survivor Pro Islands, and what you don't know is, unless you're a patron and you've watched the Castaway watch-alongs with us, in which you would know that before each challenge, Jeff goes, "Come on in, guys," and you come in, and he goes, "Today's challenge, you're gonna blah 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 blah," and then at the end, you're sitting there looking at yourself going, "Whoop," and you have no idea what he just said. So then he re-says it again, much slower, breaks it down. Then he chooses one leader or spokesman from each tribe to do a walkthrough with him. And during that walkthrough, you go through, and if you have any questions, you can ask during. I would never ask mine during. I would always ask mine afterwards. And I would just watch him and, Probst and Andrew Savage, tell each other how great they were. And I can see how they became fast friends.
Yeah.
They're both very good-looking guys. But they kind of even look eerily similar. So I get it. Me on the other hand, I'm just sitting there biting my tongue, going, I want to ask this, I want to ask this, I want to ask this, but I don't want the other fucking tribe to know this shit. So I would purposely not ask anything, just sit there, third wheel on a fucking worst, date ever, and afterwards go, all right, Jeff, I was wondering, can we? And he's like, yeah, no, you, or yes, you can throw logs there to enter, and I'm just like, motherfucker.
Shut up, Jeff.
Like the whole reason I didn't ask you during your date is because I don't want your date to know my fucking shit.
Yeah.
So that was very frustrating, but I could see David as one of those players, when Jeff does the come on in guys and someone does the walkthrough, that's the person you send through. David's the kind of guy that's going to analyze the situation and figure out what the best move for the tribe would be strategically. And so I think he has his worth there. I think he also probably might have sold them a bill of goods as far as, I have experience with puzzles. I know puzzles. I'm a smart guy. You want to keep me around for puzzles. And as we learned tonight, sometimes puzzles can be tough, and you just write that off.
Puzzles are hard, as they said tonight.
Puzzles are hard. There we go.
Puzzles are hard.
Yes, puzzles are hard. So Tommy Smokes, before we get started, tell us a little bit of how I found you, where you are, what you do, what the fuck you're doing here.
Well, I don't know how you found me, actually. You responded to I should ask you that. How did you find me?
I don't. The Twitter universe is an amazing thing. It's like Cupid sent his magical podcast arrow through us and knew that Matt would be sitting there with Matt is he's a red bearded madman. And right now, with the flames of the flu powering his body, he could be Satan right now. We don't know for sure. So no, I just think it was some kind of divine intervention that brought you to as me and Matt's podcast savior for the evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to be here. So yeah, I work for Barstool Sports, host a radio show, do some videos and blogging and stuff for them. And this season, I've made a concerted effort to blog Survivor every week. I did a cast preview blog, doing a recap every Thursday. I mean, I've watched Survivor, since it's been on. So I was 4 or 5. I started watching it with my dad. Super fan. Applied to the show a few times. The ultimate goal is to get it on one day. No luck so far. But yeah, I'm happy to be on. It's one of those things. Life is weird sometimes. If you told me 10 years ago I'd be hosting a podcast with Jonny Fairplay, I'd say, all right, I'm not sure how that happened, but it sounds exciting. Let's do it.
I would say, what the fuck is a podcast 10 years ago?
Yeah, I'd probably say that
too. So, all right, if you were to get the call to go and do a Survivor, please tell me you wouldn't go with the fucking checklist. I thought last week, I was just like, oh, okay, there is things, and the more I've been thinking about this fucking checklist philosophy of the way new players play Survivor, I fucking hate a checklist at this point. And Aubrey, who I kind of felt was old school to some degree, for her to be like, oh, the only thing I'm missing off my checklist is winning the million and getting that item. Like, no, not you, Aubrey. No. You're one of me.
My checklist would have one thing, and it would just be to win. Everything else is just, it's nice along the way, but you want to be out there to win. I'm not going to be crying if I find a goddamn hidden immunity idol.
Okay, there you go. Tommy Smokes, you have my vote to go out there. I would not blindside you until day 12.
All right, that's fair. I'll take it. I'll take 12 days.
Well, now,
as long as I don't get voted out first. That if I went out there, because I would have to get off my job for like 2 months, it probably would get so hyped up. And then if I just get out there and immediately got sent home, I would never hear the end of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard first boot's the worst. That's what the kids tell me.
Word on the street.
Word on the street, man. I don't know. All right, let's break this episode down. We start with where we left off. The big cliffhanger. What would Keith do? He summoned God, and God brought him to the edge of extinction.
Yeah, God was like, "Hey, you idiot! Of course you get back in the game. Like, what are you doing? It's been 6 days. Of course you're gonna keep playing." I don't like that we had to wait until this week. I would like every episode to end how it did this week with the decision. I don't like the cliffhanger of having.
No, I get it. With it, it made sense for Keith because he was just so wishy-washy. Like I think if I'm in production or if I'm an editor, I think I go the same route as them. But I don't think ever in the history of the show have we ever had a cliffhanger like that. And I don't think it was such a big deal that, there's people like, super pissed and that, motherfucker, you got to tell me who got voted out. So I don't think it was as egregious as that. I think in the scale of things of what you can leave things on hanging by a thread on. This is probably the the smallest of things. So I as long as they never ever do it again, I think I'm okay with it. And I think it really worked for the situation, which I never thought I'd be the kind of guy that would be okay with it, but I try to look at Survivor, through several different lenses, through the lens of a player, through the lens of a viewer, through the lens of production, through the eyes of the network, and so I think using my editor and production eyes, I think, or lens rather, I think I end last week with that cliffhanger because it's not going to change the world in any fucking way that we know it, and
it probably was clear that he was coming back. Like I don't think they would have left it as a cliffhanger if he was going to go home. They were going to start the episode today, and he's going to be like, "Oh, I actually went home." So it did sort of. It was a cliffhanger, but I think people sort of expected him to be back anyway.
Yeah, and it gave a lot of water cooler talk. I mean, like I'm seeing people on Twitter, Facebook, and not just the specific Facebook groups or just just the Survivor subreddit. There's people openly talking about how they don't feel God gives a fuck about Survivor.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's probably on the bottom of his to-do list.
Yes,
for being honest.
But
I know
were very agitated by Keith, soliciting advice from God, and and whether God would answer in some, was there going to be a lightning bolt to
well, there was. It wasn't it last season with Davey with the fire blew a certain way or something.
Sure. I think Davey was looking for something. I think Davey found what he was looking for, but I don't think Davey was looking for a lot. So I think it worked out for everyone involved. So Davey, I think Davey came across thus far as a little more likable than Keith thus far.
Oh, 1,000%. Keith, I don't find likable at all. I think he's just like a little wimp. Him, I thought I think it's funny now that the dynamic at Edge of Extinction is him and Reem, because it was like day 2 where Keith went up to Reem and basically said, "Hey, Reem, can you be my mom while we're out on the island?" That was one of the weirder moves I can remember seeing in Survivor. And now they're stuck together on this island. And Reem was even saying today, she's like, "Well, yeah, now I was by myself, but now I'm looking after somebody else." So it's probably a weird dynamic they have going on there.
I like to refer to it as the Webster strategy. You find a smaller black male and an older white woman, and they look for help in some way. And if Keith were to call her ma'am for the remainder of the season, I'd be cool with that as well. So and anytime you can work in any Emmanuel Lewis reference, for me personally, is a good time. I mean, so that's. So we learn rather quickly there ain't no food on the Edge of Extinction, and we get crazy jump cuts. Like last week, we had the crazy jump cuts to show that Reem was going crazy, and this week the crazy jump cuts continue to show you that it's fucking crazy on the Edge of Extinction Island, and but we do have maps in bottles for Reem and Keith. I don't know why they needed 2 bottles. Maybe Reem didn't notice hers before. It's been there for fucking 3 days already, and she had no clue. So, but maybe not. So they see the bottles. They see that there's maps, and Reem explains she's already kind of searched the island. She claims she did. It appears rather quickly that Reem that she tires easily.
Yes.
And by scouring the island, maybe she meant she walked 4 feet in either direction.
That seems to be. I mean, it is a big island. There is no way Reem with, she likes to say her biggest hobby is neighborhood security. That was one of the funniest things I thought from the cast assessments. There's no way Reem was going out through all those woods, climbing out Mount Everest like they called it in the middle of the night. I think Reem did a very small look around the island.
Yeah, I think it was I think one of those deals where you put your pointy finger to your eyebrows and then and then just kind of look and you're like, yep, I think I've seen everything I need to see here. So but we do learn that there is a set of stairs, and they actually find the stairs by doing a different version of scouring the island. And at the end of the stairs, were you expecting Luke Skywalker?
A little. Not totally. I mean, you can never be too surprised. It wasn't the first thing I was expecting, though.
But did you think Luke Skywalker in that moment? I mean, like I'm remembering, the Last Jedi and the island and the stairs. I'm just like, oh my God, they're gonna find Luke Skywalker with a fucking robot hand, and it's gonna be great.
That would be quite a twist.
It would have been better than a little itty bitty bag of rice. So you would think that Reem would be happy about the rice. No, it ain't much rice.
And she's like, oh, I got to walk all the way for this rice. I mean, obviously we're not there. We can't say. I can't imagine it's like a 6-hour walk to get this rice.
No, there's
all of a
5 minutes
sudden,
tops.
This whole, we're out here with no food, no anything, no information. Well, you just walk up some stairs and you get rice every day. So Edge of Extinction last week, I thought looked really bad when she's there alone, just clueless, no idea what's going on. Now she's got another person there. They're starting to get notes. You got rice up there. Edge of Extinction, it's not looking so bad as it did, on day 3.
It's turning into the Sugar Shack by the second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Based Ponderosa.
Yeah. I'm we'll see. I mean, all right, we go to our first challenge of the night. It is a reward challenge, and we're playing for either comfort or chickens. Tommy Smokes, what do you play for?
So I was thinking this. I go comfort. My thinking is sleeping is super important.
Yes.
I want to be comfortable. I'd like pillows. I'd like blankets. And, with modern day Survivor, there are so many opportunities for food between reward challenges. You have the rice. I just think you have more opportunities to get food. Maybe obviously not as consistent of a food source as chickens at your camp, but there will be other opportunities to fuel up from food. There will not be other opportunities likely to get comfort. So I think you get the comfort. You could last on that for the rest of the game, and you will still be able to eat here and there. But I have not played the game. You have, so I don't know if you have a different perspective.
No, I have played the game. I have enjoyed more rewards than anyone in the history of the show in a single season. The 2 greatest rewards that I enjoy, I mean, spa treatment, all that was fucking fun, and and plane rides, whatever. I experienced just everything but 2 rewards. And even one. All right, so one of the rewards was a breakfast reward. Burton got diarrhea, so I didn't want that one. And then the other reward was the shower thing that the Morgan tribe won, and they ended up letting me use their shampoo and shit anyways. And but every other reward I got, I can't say the grill with the spices was a game changer. I think having the ability to change your daily diet every day, because fish is great, rice is great, but if it tastes the same every fucking day, it's the same. I mean, shit gets old. So that one was huge, but we won the comfort reward. We had a big mattress. Rupert got the mattress, and that was fine. He'd go out by himself every day because he had 0 social skills, and swam with the camera guys and talked to the camera, whatever. He did what he fucking did, and that was it. And but then everyone else got their own pillow, and we got our own blanket and stuff. And being able to bundle up so that the mosquitoes didn't destroy you at night, because where we had really bad bugs. I've heard it's not as bad in Fiji, but still, I mean, like I had to make. Actually, Krista from my season, she made these sleeves for me. They're sewn on the sides, and you can put your arms. You put your arms in there on each side, and so I would use those. But before that was before I had the blankets. But blankets a game changer. A fucking pillow is a fucking game changer. You have no idea how much you want a pillow in your life until you're sleeping on fucking bamboo. I mean, just life sucks.
What would you use before you had the pillows? Just roll up a shirt or just your hands?
Your arm, yeah, just sleep on your side on your arm. So
That's
it sucked, man. I mean, it like people, they're just like, is Survivor awesome? I'm like, no. I mean, like it's really awesome to watch, and I enjoy the competition. Like I love voting. I like, a lot of people dreaded tribal council. I loved it. Like, destroying people's dreams of $1 million. That is probably my favorite hobby in the world. Love it. Love every
That
second.
would be my favorite part too. The
It is.
sleeping with like bugs and getting sand all over the place. That not for me.
It just sucks. I mean, like every day you're just like, oh, this sucks. And then on days when there are no challenges, there are no tribal, you're just bored out of your fucking mind because it's just like, I mean, how many times can you fucking say the fucking same strategy over and over? And how many times can you say that you hate that motherfucker over there? Like, I mean, I'm sure that, Rick and well, at least David has said, fuck the war dog. I mean, you can
Yeah.
just say it. I mean, like I enjoy saying it. I'm wearing a shirt that says "War dog sucks eggs"
Oh,
because
I just noticed that. You
because
don't like war. What is your beef with War Dog?
well, I'm glad you asked, Tommy Smokes. He's a poser, and B, he's a bitch. So let me elaborate.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so on his cast assessment thing, he talks about I'm the war dog and I'm gonna run the show and I'm gonna be great and I'm fucking this and that. And then he does his videos for Entertainment Weekly or Entertainment Tonight Canada. I'm the fucking war dog. I'm gonna show him I'm the fucking war. And we hear all this shit, but then you watch the show, but I don't see that guy. I see a guy being
Yeah.
a little bitch and ain't saying nothing.
That's fair. I like the idea of the War Dog more than I like War Dog himself. I thought he was going to have this Philip vibe to him, sort of, where he was just going to be super out there and disconnected. But he is way more down to earth and in key with the game than I thought. I think it was last week when he was talking about how, if we merge or if we tribe swap, I want to have Wentworth around as a shield. That was, to me, more strategy than I thought was capable in War Dog's entire brain. So
Yeah,
he may be, there's more to him than meets the eye.
he's a low budget Tony.
Yes,
So,
but not
I
nearly
mean,
as entertaining or talented.
yeah, I mean, but if you go, if you look at him on Twitter, he's talking all this shit, and it's just like, don't talk about it, be about it. Like all this shit you talk on Twitter and all this shit you talk pregame and all that, I didn't see that on the show, and it's not like they're not showing it because, they don't want to show that side of you. They ain't showing it because you didn't fucking do it, motherfucker.
Yeah. So I always thought that where a lot of times, Survivor players will complain about their edit or whatever, but like, oh, that's not how I was portrayed. And I've always thought, well, like, you did say and do those things.
Yeah,
So
they don't fucking CGI on Survivor.
Right. Yeah, you may not like that they showed these specific things, but you did those things. They're not making that up.
Yeah. So and with the War Dog, I haven't seen anything for this. I wanted a character I could fucking hate, and I haven't seen that guy. I hate the fact that he's not that fucking character. That's what I fucking hate. You know what? War Dog sucks eggs because War Dog still ain't done shit.
War Dog sucks eggs because War Dog doesn't suck eggs, basically.
Yeah, I mean, give me a guy to fucking hate. I just hate that you're not that fucking guy.
Well, I mean, we have Wendy. I hate Wendy more than I hate anybody.
Oh, Wendy Diaz Twine. We'll get.
Yeah.
we'll get to Wendy. All right, so let's finish up with the reward challenge. So I choose comfort. You choose comfort. We find out that the challenge is a wheelbarrow race, and they have to assemble a wheelbarrow and go through this little maze, pick up the bags, and then dump the wheelbarrow. Bags, and then reassemble the wheelbarrow as a slingshot, and then knock down the targets. We learn quickly that War Dog couldn't dump the wheelbarrow, and he had to hand toss the bags like a bitch. Because why? War Dog sucks eggs. Comma, has trouble with the slingshot initially, and as a result, Manu wins their first challenge of the show. All right, I'm cool with that. Little change in tide. What do they pick? Chickens. Why? They're idiots.
And it's got to be such a letdown to have your first. I mean, obviously you're happy to win a reward, but you want that first challenge win to be for immunity for sure. And they ended up with a few chickens. I would still go comfort, especially because you never know if you're going to have a lunatic on your tribe who just wants to set the chickens loose.
Okay, so before we get to the lunatic, I mean, Sandra traded her necklace for some chickens on Pearl Islands, and we had Little Jerry Seinfeld and Fuck the Cluck, and they never referenced either one of their names on the show, and one was a boy, one was a girl, and I think we kept them both together for, I don't know, maybe a week, and we got one egg total. So, I mean, I have heard in other seasons that their chickens produced more eggs. So, I can tell you that if I got chickens that produce one egg a fucking week, I'm killing those fucking chickens. Fuck those chickens. Those chickens fucking suck. Okay. So if I'm worried about what the production of these chickens, then I don't like the chickens as a reward. Okay, now let's get to Wendy, the crazy person that wants to save these chickens' lives. All right, if you're Wendy and you're so animated about the fact that you don't want people to kill chickens, say that at the fucking reward and just say, hey, I know you guys are debating between the two, but I'm just going to say as a person and as a tribesman, and I feel that we all have a voice, we can make this a democracy and vote. However, if you get those chickens, it will bother me as personally. So I'm begging you, don't get the chickens.
And as far as we know, I mean, maybe she may have said something like that, but it doesn't seem like it, because
I think she didn't say fucking shit till she fucking got back and then decides to vent to herself, call over Rick for a private meeting of sabotage and Operation Chicken Break, and and it's just like, where is this craziness coming from?
I mean, the craziest part is that she's not a vegetarian.
Yes.
I thought I was like mishearing things at first.
Sure.
She has lived her whole life, no problem having chickens die, eating chicken. She gets out to the island where she needs to eat chicken more than she's ever needed to eat chicken in her life. And this is where she decides to draw the line.
Well, I do respect the fact that she's an 8-day vegetarian. I mean, I think she's displayed the principles of amazing, I mean, how many hours? I don't even know. What's 8 times 24? That's a big number.
Like 192, I think. If that would be impressive. If that, it sounds right.
I mean, that sounds right, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, we're talking almost 200 hours of vegetarianism. You can't argue that.
You have to start somewhere.
You do, and well, we're not quite. We're gonna get to another moment with her in a little bit. So, but we do see on the other tribe that Victoria and Ron are discussing the returnees and whether they should be first on the boot list. It looks as though Joe, Aubrey, and Aurora are on the outside looking in as far as alliances are concerned. But Victoria and Ron they look as far around them island wise as Reem does on the edge of Extinction to make sure that no one else is around them. And we see Joe literally 3 feet from them as they're talking about his expulsion from the game.
Yeah, it was. You got to be a little more careful. I would assume out there you walk out. Now, I always wonder, is it suspicious for other players if you see 2 people walk out and a camera crew following them?
No. There's enough cameras that at any time 2 people are usually going off to do something and a crew is following them. So there's that many cameras out there.
Okay, that changes.
So
they got to be more careful.
The only time a camera doesn't follow you is if you go by yourself and you say you're going to the bathroom. But if you go by yourself and say you're going exploring, they'll probably send a camera with you, just you.
So what if you say, all right, hey, I'm gonna go pee, and they don't send a camera with you, and then you just look for the idol.
You can't. You want the camera to come with you to look for an idol because the camera crew is going to tell you where the idol is.
Really?
Yeah, like if you start going somewhere and there's the idol's not there, they're gonna film you, but they're not gonna film you like they're really like like
Right. You could tell
if
how
you're
it's
if you're close to the idol, they're gonna be like, oh, they're prepping for that shot.
Gotcha. Well, I was just thinking not. I was thinking more from the aspect of you don't want other people knowing you're looking for the idol. Other contestants is sort of how I was looking at it. So if you're just like, yeah, I'm going to pee, then they won't know you're looking. But
Yeah,
I guess yeah. I mean, the cameras obviously, I guess, help.
yeah. No, I mean, if you're a smarter, I mean, like I didn't have idols on my first season, but we had a treasure, and like we had Sean, who was his edit was that of not the smartest guy out there, and definitely very arrogant. So so the treasure map said go to the fork tree, the devil's tree, and go from there, and we couldn't figure out where the devil's tree was. So just knowing the way they put together the show, I was like, "Hey, Sean," and because we had a general idea of where it was, I was like, "Hey, Sean, stand right over there and say, I know the Devil's Tree is right here. Just as cockily and arrogantly as
Right.
possible." And he went and did that, and I stood back and watched. And they showed him say, they filmed him going, "I know it's here," and point. And then you see the camera go a different direction to show that he's close, but he's a fucking idiot. And they wanted to show that he's a fucking idiot. And so
Oh, that's smart. That's
as
next level.
yeah, so I'm watching there, and I was like, "Thank you, Sean, for doing, like sacrifice." And he was like, "What the fuck you talking about?" Of course, he went back to being an arrogant fuck from there. So then when we found out where it was, I'm like, "Okay, the treasure's gonna be right here." I was like, "Sean, I didn't have to give credit, but I'm a fucking nice guy." And so I was like, "Sean, say the treasure's here." And so Sean said the treasure's here. We dug there, the treasure was there. So I mean, like, I used Sean. He had a chance to show some kind of redeeming fucking quality. Heaven forbid he did, and he fucking didn't. But I still, if it wasn't for the character that he was playing, they might not have shown that that dummy
Right.
shot. And so
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think from the fans' perspective, we don't think about that. We just think about the game that we see. We don't think about the game that happens, outside of the game out there, is manipulating the camera crew, stuff like that. So that's interesting.
14 out of 16 others on a season don't either. So don't, I assure you that's extra level. That's the difference between myself and a Russell Hantz and a Stephen Fishback and players of that. I mean, maybe I'm not on that level, but I'm pretty sure since I fucking did it, I am at that level. So, but anyway, it's just a different, as we mentioned, on the earlier in the show. I try to look at the show even when I'm playing the game through those different lenses, because if you do, you just see the game in an entirely different way. So
Right.
anyway, so we Aubrey, Joe, and Aurora confirm that they're on the outs, and as a result, Aubrey decides to run very fast in her Donald Duck outfit into the woods and look for an idol. And she finds an idol, and she cries. Uh, okay, I just this is I briefly discussed earlier. I don't act like you've been there, Aubrey. Like I feel like Aubrey's better than a checklist type player. That's some fucking
I don't know if she is. I'm not an Aubrey fan.
Okay.
I think the fact that she's been on 3 seasons is crazy. I think she's had not. I don't think she's been particularly memorable. I think she's an above average player. I mean, she's had good runs in her past, but I don't think there's any aspect of Aubrey that has fans be like, "Oh, I need to see Aubrey play again." I don't think she's exciting at all in that aspect.
I think I think she's an archetype for a certain demo. I think she's the girl that all the Survivor nerds watching going, she could be mine.
Yeah, fair.
So I mean, you have a
It's like
Lauren.
a favorite, yeah.
Yeah, you have a Lauren.
Survivor subreddit loves her.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a Lauren who, I don't 98% of anyone that's ever watched Survivor could never get her ever.
Right.
You have your Jonny Fairplays of the world, perhaps, but that it's very limiting. So
Can't all be you.
I mean, it's tough. So it's mostly the hair. It's the hair and the amazing
Yeah.
T-shirts available at johnnyfairplay.com. And once again, when you order a T-shirt from johnnyfairplay.com, you get a call from me, Tommy Smokes. I call you and say, "Hey, thanks for buying a shirt."
I mean, as someone who is on a current call with Jonny Fairplay, I can assure you that it's great and well worth your purchase.
Okay, there you go. It's true. So and you can also see my amazing outfit if you go Patreon. Patreon each week. Matt Bischoff and I, we do a Castaway watch along. We watch a previous season. We finished Pro Islands, made it all the way through. Had special guests like Sandra Diaz Twine, Andrew Savage, Burton Roberts, Dara Johnson, and more. We're currently watching Survivor Caramoan. For me, it's the first time watching. I tapped out early in the season. I saw the Cochrane edit. Said, I ain't watching that shit. No, not my cup of tea. And so I'm watching now. We had Eric the Ice Cream Scooper on last week. We have some special guests coming up the next few weeks. Really exciting stuff. You get to watch a season with me that as I'm watching in real time for the first time. So it's kind of cool. Every Friday we do my favorite podcast of the week. It's the Patreon Q&A, in which you, the listeners and viewers of Survivor NSFW, you give us the questions. They don't have to be Survivor related. Most of the time, they are not Survivor related, and we have a lot of fun answering that. And all these things are available on our Patreon side of things, and that's available at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. The best way to support the podcast is to become a Patreon member. For $5, you get the video version of this podcast every Wednesday, and it's basically a way to throw $5 in the tip jar. It's a once a month deal. For $10, you get all the content. You get the Castaway Watch Along, the Q&A, our Cruising with the Castaway specials, all kinds of bonus stuff each and every month for $10 a month. That's for less than 2 cups of good coffee. Go to patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. Oh, you can go VIP and you get a Survivor buff. You get all kinds of extra shit. You get it all. Check it out.
Wow.
Patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. Let's get back to this fucking episode. All right. Wendy's not a vegetarian. War Dog will not be her friend outside the game if he finds out she eats meat. God damn it, is that all it takes, War Dog? Fuck it, I'm a fucking I have 3 grills on my porch. I got the Blackstone. I got a smoker. I'm a meat-eating motherfucking machine. So War Dog, hate away, brother. Do not be my friend. Do not come looking for a Christmas card ever.
That, though, that's the War Dog I was kind of expecting. I like the War Dog who's so delusional, where he thinks that him telling Wendy we're not going to be friends outside of the game is like a huge threat to her. Like, she's going to be like, oh, shit, like, the War Dog's not going to be friends with me. That's what I want out of the War Dog. I want him thinking he has that kind of power by just revoking friendship from someone.
The fucking War Dog. So do you think that all right, so my T-shirt is based on the old Terry Funk back in the day. Terry Funk was feuding with Dusty Rhodes and made a shirt that said "Dusty sucks eggs," and it was an orange shirt just like this. Do you think War Dog would get a reference like that? Do you think he even knows who Terry Funk is?
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I might be too young. I don't even understand the reference, so I can't trash War Dog for not.
Oh, you don't know who Terry Funk is?
No.
Oh wow, look him up. He's one of the greatest wrestlers ever. He's in the movie Roadhouse. So you know what? I'm almost thinking War Dog does, because if you look at War Dog's Twitter thing, he's got hashtag NWO on there.
Oh, so maybe.
Maybe.
I do know that's wrestling.
That is wrestling. But do you think that he's that there's a glimmer of fucking cool hidden in the War Dog somewhere? No way, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the War Dog he's pure delusion and war dogness.
Okay. All right. I I like to apologize for anyone that thought I was showing an ounce, a percentage of an ounce of compassion towards this guy. So let's get back to business, and the hate continues. Lauren gets hotter by the second. I don't know where they were hiding these awesome underwear from her, but I'm glad she found them. Uh,
Agreed.
that's all I have to say about
It'd
that.
be a real shame if she stays around for a while. A real shame.
Yes. So we go to the immunity challenge, and wow. Well, first of all, Wendy's hurt, still great in the water, killing it in the water. And the beginning of that challenge with those 6 people in the water, pulling the boat behind them, that may have been the 6 best people in the water at the same time in the history of Survivor. I thought it was I mean, like they look like synchronized fucking Olympic swimmers.
Yeah, it did sort of feel like an Olympic event. It was very. You usually got one person just struggling.
Keith in it
last week or
I
whatever.
like to say Keith in it. That's
Yeah. You have one Keith out there who just seems like they had no idea water was going to be a part of Survivor. But no, this was impressive.
Yeah, and the War Dog.
And the War Dog.
No, I will say War Dog had good form. I mean, I hate giving compliments, and it literally pains me. But good form. So that was incredible. And we have the first part of the challenge, pulling out the boats and then jumping off and grabbing the key deals, and then going up and doing the pirate ship steering wheel puzzle. And wow, Manu loses on a non-Joe driven challenge. That stings.
That's tough. If you're gonna lose, you want to lose because Joey Amazing did something Joey Amazing.
Yeah. And that was not the case. And Manu had an early lead. They had a chance. I don't think they understood the premise, because they're off to a fast start with the steering wheel thing, and they're just screwing things in. I think they were just fucking screwing. I don't think they understood that they were different links.
Yeah, I don't. So how hard are the puzzle? How hard are just the challenges in general? Because I think a lot of whenever I tell my friends or whatever I want to go on the show, they're like, "There's no way you could do these challenges." I feel like they might not be as hard as they look, but
they are.
They are as hard as they look.
Yeah, they are as hard.
Really,
if not harder. Yeah, because you're sitting there, you're just like, I should be, but by the end, I feel I don't know if you talk yourself into it more, but yet no, it's like whatever you think, you're just like, yeah, it's gonna fuck up somehow. It's pretty much where you are in every fucking challenge. So,
damn.
Yeah. No, I wish I could have been the bearer of better news on that one, but yeah, not so much. It sucks. It's just, I mean, because everything is heavy, everything is made out of wood and fucking steel and shit, so everything's fucking heavy as fuck. So, and plus they reuse this shit season after so you got waterlogged fucking shit.
My only argument I make back is that look, you have these fatzos out there, you got these old people out there. If they're able to do it, I'm sure I could figure it out too. That's sort of the counter argument to that.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, because I was always under the impression, once you get to individual immunity, it can't be but so hard because it has to be quote unquote fair enough for the most physically fit fucking dude there and the weakest female or male. I'm not being sexist here, but a female is typically lighter in smaller in size or lighter in weight than a male, and they have to make it fucking even. I mean, because it's not it's a competition for $1 million that you shouldn't be able to say, well, that challenge is made for the only the one person that could deadlift 200 pounds could win that. That's not fair. You can't do that.
Right. They definitely become a lot more endurance based.
Yeah. So, so I'm sitting there going, okay, so there's a chance. And it's just like, fuck, man, unless you find that fucking eye of the tiger fucking moment, 9 times out of 10, you're going to fucking Mike White that shit. So anyway, post challenge, David's Spidey sense goes off and it's telling him now is the time to target Wentworth. And then a Captain Marvel commercial airs. Coincidence? I think not.
I don't think I even picked up on that, honestly.
Yeah, they're good, man. Like if I'm an editor and I'm just like, sell this fucking like, do we have a Marvel movie coming up? Do we have a shitty DC movie coming up? Oh, Shazam, perfect. Sell it to those motherfuckers. So no, we kept it in the right family. Spidey sense Marvel, followed by Captain Marvel commercial. Loved it. So.
Yeah, that is next level. That's looking at it from the eyes of the producer, the lens of the network, like you said. I was not looking at it through that lens. I was probably taking a piss or something.
Yeah, and David's smart enough, probably knowing that movie's coming out. I mean, if you're a nerd, the level of myself or David, you know that when this right around when this is airing. I mean, because all right, my first season of Survivor, Pearl Islands, it was that summer, the big blockbuster hit. This was summer 2003 is when we filmed. The big summer blockbuster was supposed to be The Incredible Hulk. It was a flop, huge bomb. The movie of the year was Pirates of the Caribbean. Our season of Survivor happened to be the pirate themed season of Survivor. Fucking perfect. I mean, shit worked out. From God. Yeah, because all right, so seasons 1 through 3, Survivor's #1 show in the world for the week. Then season 4, I think it drops to like either number 2 or 3 in the ratings. I think by the time Amazon aired, I believe they were number 5 in the ratings. Rob C claims they were still number 3. I think they had dropped all the way to 5. When Pearl Island starts, because we're a pirate-themed season, we were number 2 to start the season. We're number 2 every single week until I get rid of Rupert. And then the next week, which is the dead grandmother lie, everyone vows they're never watching again. It's the #1 show every week until through the end of the season. So because people wanted to be in front of the TV when I was there, like, I want to see that motherfucker get voted out.
Yeah, they loved to hate you.
Well, yeah, they love to hate me, but they wanted to get their reward. They're just like, right. You fucked us by sending home the guy we wanted. We want to see you get fucked. I want to be in front of my TV, and I want to eat the deliciousness that is your fucking Exodus.
I will say this, and maybe this could help build our bond. I never have been a Rupert fan at all. I think one of the most overrated players in Survivor. I'm sure he'll be back again for another season because they just continue to bring him back. But I rooted against Rupert hard every season he was in.
Oh, well, there you go. You're a smart kid. There's hope for you. So, all right. So we're back from a commercial. Wendy is worried about going home, and she pulls like it's Wendy Diaz. I like to affectionately refer to her as Wendy Diaz Twine. And gosh darn it, if she did not pull off a Sandra Diaz Twine move tonight. All right. So going back to when I voted out Rupert that night, we go back to the camp. Sandra goes, grabs the fish that Rupert had caught and dumped him out in the woods because if we were going to vote out her friend, she was going to sabotage the tribe and not let us enjoy Rupert's fish. Well, Wendy's tribe loses. She runs to camp ahead of them, even with a hurt ankle, grabs the flint and hides it to prevent them from killing the chicken.
It is a move that I mean, Sandra, all her moves were, I don't know what, I wouldn't even say maybe likable is the word. Sandra's moves, they just seemed to have, they were just better. She was just better at doing these things than Wendy. Wendy, this was just clumsy. Everyone was like, yeah, of course Wendy took the flint. So I'm not giving her that Sandra label just yet. I mean,
I think people initially thought she did, but I think, with David and Rick giving her the Grand Inquisition and coming back and saying no, I don't think they thought she did. I think next week she's fucked.
Right. Well, it looks like from the preview she just lets them go. I just can't imagine if I was on that tribe and we chose chickens over comfort and she, hadn't said anything at the time, and then we went back and I'm starving for food and she let those chickens live. I think she should have had to sign a waiver. Like when you go out there, if you let the chickens loose, then like you're basically sacrificing your life. Like they can now just kill you and eat you instead of just the chicken. That would almost be a deserving punishment for letting the chickens go.
Well, wow. I'm now scared to play Survivor with you.
I'm kidding. I wouldn't, kill anyone out there.
Well, I mean, some.
It depends how hungry I was.
Well, no, if you play with Rupert, you would definitely, want to barbecue him. I assure you. So
A lot of meat
so we have Wendy sulking, and I don't know if she's like she's selling the fact that she knows that she's going home, that she's kind of the odd man out, the the initial alliance of Reem, Keith, and Wendy. She is the last member, and no one knows of the secret alliance between David, Rick, and her. So she's sulking, and David sees this as a perfect decoy. So him and Rick lay it out, and they approach Chris with the Wentworth plan and explain to him that he can't tell anyone, but he can't tell. Sorry, he can't tell War Dog or Lauren. But Chris doesn't keep secrets in real life.
No, he does not seem to be good at that.
Yeah, well, that's so. If he can't keep secrets in real life, he's decided that he's going to take this philosophy into the game of Survivor.
Troublesome.
Just a bad move, man. I just don't get it. Like, when someone says, hey, we just feel really more comfortable, we get, like, this is one of those deals where forgiveness is easier than permission.
Yep. Yeah, I think I think David played him really well. Like, getting Wentworth out was, a David original plan, but he was almost able to incept it into Chris's brain, where he then brings it up to War Dog, and everyone looks at Chris as the guy who, is really the one that's trying to target Wentworth, but, it's actually David all along.
Yeah. So, but, well, I mean, we know Chris tells War Dog, and so War Dog decides, hey, this guy's giving me information. Heaven forbid, let me get rid of that. I just don't understand what War Dog doesn't see here in the fact that isn't the type of player that Wentworth goes afterwards once she gets a little bit of power a player like a War Dog? Isn't that kind of her MO, or no?
I would think she would almost want to take out someone that's more of I don't think Wentworth is going to look at War Dog as a strategic threat to her.
Okay. But he's still kind of an alpha man. I mean, like, I put, I mean, maybe that's not fair for me to put him on the same pedestal as like an Andrew Savage.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I just think, yeah, I guess I could see that more. I think Savage was maybe a little bit more grounded in the game than War Dog seemed. War Dog's just a little more out there. You know what I mean? Savage is like you're buttoned up, quote unquote leader of the tribe that you sort of always see typecasted. And War Dog's this weird Tony mix with like Philip.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you had to pick one person on that tribe that's closest to an Andrew Savage type player,
yeah, it would be him for sure.
None of the options are optimal.
Yeah, you may go Chris too, sort of playing the whole
too young.
Yeah, too young. True.
Yeah.
I guess.
Fuck. I mean, like War Dog he's going to law school. Andrew Savage is a lawyer.
Right. Yeah, I guess he just doesn't see that. I mean, I personally, if I'm in his shoes, if I'm in War Dog's shoes, I don't know. Would you be targeting Wentworth, or would you have gone against?
Wentworth is my number one target.
I might be going. I just think I don't know if Wentworth is that much of a threat yet.
Chris isn't.
That's true. I don't know. Even though Wendy is not a threat, I think that she's someone you can't trust, and she's also just making your camp life worse.
If you're War Dog, but not if you're David.
Yeah. No, I was going from the War Dog perspective. Yeah, if you're David, getting.
But Wendy jumped off the radar so quick with this Chris situation that she's not even an option.
Right. If I'm David, targeting Wentworth makes sense. At the same time, do you think there's any credence to David wanting to keep Wentworth around as a shield, as another returning player?
No. I think I think he plays a fair play-esque game. He wants to go after your stronger players first. You make this early move now, and as he described, no one knows it's him directly coming up. With Chris gone, the only person that would see him going after Wentworth directly is Rick, who is his right hand. So no, I get it. The problem is he knows. We all know if you're a better than average player that some kind of tribe swap or something's coming soon, and
Right.
it's probably one sooner than he was hoping.
Yeah, I think that's the. I think a tribe swap is almost more of a like I think War Dog last week actually I mentioned it before had an astute point where if I'm in the minority tribe right now, I want when we swap if we swap I almost want to end up on a tribe with Wentworth if I'm going to be in a minority because I know they're going to target her before they target me.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, like, if I'm reach if I'm a new player, if I'm playing the game, I'm calling a tribe swap at day 9 or day 12, and you kind of anticipate 12, you think it's gonna be 12, and as soon as you feel that, as soon as you bet money on that, then you've guaranteed it's 9. And I feel like they kind of bet money on 12 and they got fucked with the 9. So
Yeah, it's tough. A tribe swap. I mean, they obviously have been happening more and more recently. I prefer the more old school of I like going just from tribes to just right to merge, but whatever,
yeah,
I guess, from the network perspective, this makes sense.
yeah, I like 16 people, 2 tribes, 1 merge, final 2, give me $1 million.
Yeah,
So
agree.
no fire bullshit. But that's just me. Okay, so Rick feels that he has been forced to turn villain. Spoiler alert, Rick, you are no villain.
He will never be a villain.
no, no. I think Rick could kill someone on the island and still they're like, did you see him laughing?
Yeah, he's a weatherman.
Yeah.
He's an anchor. How could you not like Rick?
Yeah, he's the anchor man. Shirt available at JonnyFairplay.com. What we learned really quickly, Rick and David, they're in the driver's seat.
For sure. I mean, they're able to, they walked out of this challenge with pretty much no blood on their hands. Out of that trial with pretty much no blood on their hands.
Yeah. So no, they I did it. We get to tribal, and line of the night obviously is David saying that they're going after the biggest social threat out there, and Kelly asking what does that mean, and David replying, "Don't worry about it." Wow.
I just talk.
Yeah.
I always am amazed at how people talk themselves into trouble at tribal council.
Yeah. I'm one of the, like you go back and watch Pro Islands. My first big blind side. Well, first tribal council was also blind side. It was also drunk at tribal. But Jeff's like, what are you basing your vote on tonight? I'm like, I don't know, astrological signs. It's like, do you think that's respect? I'm just like, Jeff, I'm not ruining my fucking game by helping your fucking TV show. Like,
the same thing.
Your production pulls me away from the camp 8 times a fucking day. I will give them every fucking answer you need tomorrow morning. I promise. I am a team player. But sitting in front of these fucking assholes and telling them what the fuck I'm going to do before the fuck I do it? No. Especially in fucking the way the game is played now, where people fucking get up and fucking whisper, fuck you.
What if you just refuse to answer? What if, he asks you a tribal council question, you basically just say no comment, or you give one word answers? Would he rip you a new one? Like,
yes. Oh, yes.
But he can't, at the end of the day, he can't force you to say anything, right? He can't be like, you're out of the game.
No, but I was severely reprimanded after my first tribal council for being drunk. They're just like, hey, no more of that. Like, I was like, what, is there a rule? They're like, Jeff takes tribal council very seriously, and he is none too happy with you right now. I'm like, well, you didn't like me before tonight. I mean, so, but yeah, no, it's a respect thing. I mean, like that's his deal. I get it. I mean, like there's we 2003 is a long time ago, and 3 incarnations of Jonny Fairplays ago. But no, I get it. I respect the guy. So that's his thing. That's where he makes his deal. And so no, I mean I'm cool with it, but I'm still not gonna fuck up my game just to answer his questions. I'll I'll round about as good as I can do, but that's it. So and I think he understands that to a degree.
Gotcha. That's interesting. I've always been fast because I know tribal council people always say it takes way longer than obviously is shown on TV. I was wondering, what Jeff is doing, behind the scenes when people are probably giving them these bullshit answers he doesn't like. And sometimes you get a gem like David where, that's the exact type of television that they're looking for, I'm sure is a mistake line like that.
Yeah. Well, we learned post vote, Jeff, just like, wow, that, you've been voted out, blah, blah, blah. And Kelly looks unimpressed with David, it's just like, this was, and it's just like, you better be a little bit more worried, girl. like you can be unimpressed all you want, but like, this is the guy that's got the dagger right at your back. So, and you got real lucky that he didn't choose to shove it in this tonight's episode.
Why do you think him and Rick chose to go that
route? Because once again, like get rid of one of the strongest players, hope that you have one more tribal to get rid of Wentworth, you don't need you don't need the war. You have enough people to get rid of Wentworth without well, no, you don't have Chris.
Now you're 3-3.
Yeah, I guess you just hope that the war, they're.
Well, now it doesn't matter with the swap.
Now it doesn't fucking matter. So I don't know. I mean, I think you can get rid of her easier. Like I think the only one that's adapting of the returnees is David. I think any of these guys could go home at any given time.
I agree. I think he is, if I'm ranking likelihood to win, I have David in my top, 3 in the entire game, and everyone else is way closer to the bottom.
Yeah. So, but we do get a closing line from Chris once he sees his options, and screw you guys, or screw those guys. I'm getting back in the boat. Good for you. No God needed. He knew what was up.
Yeah, Chris. I will say Chris exceptionally boring. An exceptionally boring, really just person.
Yeah. It seems like a nice enough guy. I don't think Survivor's the game for him. I think he would do better. The Rock Titan games might be a good show for him, or the LeBron, the $1 Million Mile or whatever. I think any of those are probably more, and probably where they found him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Which I thought he said coming into the show that he was a super fan, but he has not played at all. Like, he did not play at all or appear to be a super fan.
No, he left a few of the lessons of from the masters on the study room floor. So Tommy, let's get some plugs in. Where can they find you? What should they be checking out? And where can they find? And where will those things be?
So check out barstoolsports.com. That's the home for everything that we do. Barstool Sports on Twitter and Instagram. I do Barstool Radio 4 to 6 every day on SiriusXM Power 85. And personally, I'm on Twitter and Instagram just at Tom Scabelli, just first and last name. Tomorrow, I'll put out a recap blog for Survivor, recapping the episode. I'll mention the podcast as well. And just check us out there. Check out Barstool. We're going to try to ramp up the Survivor coverage as the season goes along.
I love it. Thank you so much for, once again, being there for the hot tag, brother. That's very, very clutch. And from this end on the plugs, once again, the number one way to support the show, go to patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. Try it for 1 month. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and leave a good review or a great review. Go to Survivor NSFW.com. That's Survivor NSFW.com for that. And get yourself a fucking t-shirt, man. T-shirts are great. Those are available at JonnyFairplay.com. And join me next Wednesday night live. That's right. I am live as hell. I'm going to be in Durham, North Carolina at the Dirty Bull Brewery. That is March 13th. I think there's 4 VIP tickets remaining. It's going to be myself, Keith from Survivor Edge of Extinction. You're going to have Allison from David versus Goliath, Jane from Survivor Nicaragua, Jeremiah from Survivor Cagayan, and Zane Knight from Survivor Philippines. It is a star-studded event, but wait, who's that added? The dead grandma making one of her rare appearances. She's never been at any of these things before. Will probably never be at another one again because she'll be dead. So the dead grandma will be there. Go VIP to make sure you get her autograph. It starts. VIP starts at 6:30. General admission is 7:30. Get tickets now at SurvivorTix.com. That's SurvivorTix.com. That is for next Wednesday night, Durham, North Carolina. Dirty Bull Brewing Company. It's gonna be a big birthday cake. It's my 45th birthday. Come join me. SurvivorTix.com. Also pick up your tickets for April 10th in Baltimore, Maryland. April 24th, I will be at Zany's in Nashville doing a live Survivor show. I'll be joined, back in Baltimore, I'll be joined by Wendell and Bryce. It's going to be a fun time. In Nashville, tickets available at SurvivorAfterHours.com for that show. And only that show, I'll be joined by Taj from Survivor Token Chins and Grammy winner from SWV. And also, I will be in May 1st. You will find me in Los Angeles. I'll be at Busby's West, technically Santa Monica, California. And I will be joined by Jay and Nina and several others. Rhino from Pro Islands will be there. All those tickets are available with the exception of Nashville at SurvivorTix.com. That's SurvivorTix.com. Get them now. VIP on all of these shows will sell out. I promise you. And I wouldn't lie about that. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Matt. Get well soon. We love you, buddy. And everyone else, until next week, Survivor NSFW. Goodbye.